Washoe County Judiciary conflicts of interest. Okay, we're going to talk about this here. This has to do with Wilcox Ranch Property Owners Association. I have Mr. Belfort on the line for comments. This has to do with a quiet title regarding Millennium Properties. Okay, so I want to show this here. This was done on 6/22/2022 by the Doyle Law Office, Washoe, and they recorded it. Okay, there it is there. But, you know, there's some inconsistencies here. Here, the attorney doesn't even sign it. Okay, this is a sleight of hand. Okay, this is bullshit. He recorded this document with no signature, so this is void as far as I'm concerned. All right, and so I just want to show you that. That's a little trick these attorneys pull. There's no excuse for that. Where's your autograph on here, buddy? Anyways, come down here. This is filed in this court case on 2022-06-16. Okay, Millennium Properties of Northern Nevada, LLC, a domestic liability company. Case number CV21-01087, Department 1. We're going to talk about this judge in this case here. Okay, but here's the deal here. So it looks to me like maybe these people had died and then they file a quiet title on this. I don't know who these people are. Ann Levine, Barbara Ann Levine, Arthur Levine. Okay, they may have died, and so they file a quiet title, and then nobody answers because I don't know if these guys answer. It looks like no one answered this thing. But it says all other interested parties having a claim to the property, et al. Okay, well, Wilcox Ranch Property Owners Association and Wilcox Ditch Company are interested parties, and they never notified us about this, and we're going to show why. Okay, because we have a beef with this Millennium Properties here. They're blocking waterways with Washoe County Planning and Building Department and the state of Nevada, and they're all profiting from this. Okay, and they're leaning on the members of Wilcox Ranch Property Owners Association and Wilcox Ditch Company, leaning on their title rights. Okay, so you go down here. We were never notified about this. They got a default judgment against them. Okay, plaintiff on first, second, third cause of action, a quiet title to real property, slander of title and unjust enrichment. Plaintiff provided satisfactory proof that the defendant was served with summons, verified complaint. The defendant did not respond or appear or answer to date. Okay, probably because they were deceased, and this is how they do it. This is how they steal the properties down at the county. Okay, we have another example of this, how they're doing it. And so this Yager Groundy Acquisitions LLC, they just don't answer it, and they just let them take it. Okay, but the plaintiff, Millennium Properties of Northern Nevada LLC, is entitled to a quiet title and fee simple to that real property in Washoe County, more fully described as Parcel 57 of Wilcox Ranch 2. Well, let me tell you, they never know it. These attorneys never contacted Wilcox Ranch. Okay, they made all these representations about these title rights to the attorney Gail Agnes Kern, and so this is a bogus quiet title as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so they named Wilcox Ranch in there, and it says here, we now clarify that the attorney fees are only available as special damages and slander of title action, not simply when a litigant seeks to remove a cloud upon a title. You know, so they're awarding these attorneys fees for $8,919.52. But the main thing I want to show here is this judge, Kathleen M. Draculich, district judge. Okay, this is the second judge that they put on Mr. Belfort's cases and my case now that we're quieting title concerning Wilcox Ranch. Okay, and later I'll come back and have a video showing the title insurance for Millennium Properties, which I have a copy of in the policy number. So they're well aware of Wilcox Ranch Property Owners Association. They're trying to hide all this. And this judge now presides over our $5 million lawsuit against the county. They put her on. This is the second judge. The other judge was David A. Hardy. We'll get to that in a minute. But this judge has a conflict of interest, and they put her under our $5 million case against the county, and we believe she's bribed by the county and received judicial benefits, and she has a conflict of interest. So she's disqualified right off the bat. So I want to talk about that. Okay, and look, here's all the certifications and everything. Okay, they recorded this thing. Okay, and I wanted to show you, this is all, this is about title. We have defective title, we have fraudulent title. Okay, I'm going to go to the next one. I'm going to ask Mr. Belfort if he wants a comment about this. Go ahead, Mr. Belfort.
I just, you know, it gets a little beyond my scope of knowledge on this, but I think this is all being done in a clandestine and subversive manner.
Okay.
It's not up front. We aren't being notified of any of this, and it's all being done behind the scenes.
Okay. Intentionally, organized. This is racketeering, man. Threats, financials, just been on and on. They won't do jack about it. And the district attorney, he should be fired for what's going on here, him and his deputies. Okay, now I'm on to this next one. This is another quiet title. This one's real interesting. We're going to talk about it here. This is done on 2018-11/28. Okay, and this is another quiet title. Chamfrey Reynolds, REO LLC, a limited liability company, CV 18-01784. Okay, unknown. This person, I've already looked into. This lady died, and they did the same thing here. But I want to talk this Chamfrey Reynolds. This property was bought up by this guy named Kenneth Clifford. And it's interesting because we ran into him and talked to him about it. He said he didn't know anything about any of this liens on his property with Wilcox Ranch or anything. And, you know, we did a little investigation. This guy has a BA in law, apparently. And he's telling us that.
Geothermal engineering.
Yeah. Well, another thing is, during the last meeting we went to, this guy showed up, and I was running the thing, and he goes over on a side deal, and he proposed that we shut down Wilcox Ranch Property Owners Association and start a new one, which doesn't make sense. Why would you do that other than to try to get rid of the evidence and break this thing all up and get rid of it? But so they went over there after the meeting and had their own meeting with all the adverse parties, James Lee Schreck and all them, and they were over there going to set up a meeting in September to go and try to dissolve Wilcox Ranch Property Owners Association and start another one, okay, on their own, right in front of everybody. What would you do that for? Okay, so this guy's shady. Okay, he knows what's going on, and there's something going on here. But let's go down here and look. And you know, it goes through here. The thing that this was about this is Gail Agnes Kern is the one that quieted title. Here she is right here, from Leach, Kern, Gruchow, Anderson, Song. These people are responsible. Okay, this is a racketeer, a home equity theft scam that they're all running and they're all profiting, and we can prove it. Okay, there's $33,000 unaccounted for that the county made on this, and they refused to tell me where the money went because they got their fat money when they sold it on the courthouse step. Gail Agnes Kern got her money, and she billed Wilcox Ranch, and she's representing about it's right here, attorney for Wilcox Ranch Property Owners Association, Gail A. Kern Esquire, November 28, 2018. Okay, so they were running this stuff, making these representations, these stipulated judgment quieting title. This is Gail Agnes Kern, right here for Wilcox Ranch Property Owners Association, and that law firm, Leach, Kern, Gruchow, Anderson. They agreed to all this. See, they're doing all this. She's managing Wilcox Ranch and advising, and they're over there voting perpetuity votes that are in fraud. Okay, we have all the evidence. Now, let's go down here. It talks about this parcel, 32 of Wilcox Ranch. Talks about these easements. Okay, where Wilcox Ranch has all the easement control. They're doing all this stuff. Okay, subject property purchase by Chamfrey Washoe, but someone else bought it. They settled this one. Chamfrey and the HOA further agree that the subject property remains subject to the HOA's ongoing lien rights and remedies under its governing documents, NRS 116 and applicable Nevada law. Okay, now this Gail Kern, she needs to be disbarred. Okay, and I hope she's watching it because I'm calling her out for what they're damaging us continually. We can't enjoy our properties, and this stuff, the roads are so bad now. You try to get a fire truck up in there for paramedics or fire, good luck, because they stole all the money, the former officers, they embezzled it. Okay, there's no accounting for the money, and they've all been told.
They embezzled it with Gail Kern acting as their protector under this.
We have all the threat letters that they made against Mr. Belfort and sent it to him in the mail, threatening him basically that you'll pay or we'll take your property just like this, in a sense is what it says. And then we got documents in there with her and Kathy Gladler, a Washoe County employee, talking about trying to eminent domain Mr. Belfort's property, putting protective orders on him, all because he questioned them destroying his property, and he beat them in court. Okay, but they were behind the scenes. Meanwhile, there's no accounting for the last 5 years that I got in the checks, and I'm saying that they're going to have to do a forensic audit by some accountants for 15 years of all this money, because I'm telling you, the money's all gone. They never worked on the roads. They never put base rock down, and now it's a medical and fire issue, and they're over there rubber stamping subdivisions with the state and Washoe County, all while profiting. And it's fuck you to us on our titles. Bullshit. Bullshit. Okay, there she is right there. Okay? And they don't want to do nothing about it. She's been contacted several times. As far as I'm concerned, she's dishonest and she should be disbarred.
And she claims that she's never been a manager of Wilcox.
Yeah, she's a fiduciary manager. She advised.
Right on the documents.
Well, we've got all the representations. I got a whole box of them, what she was doing, and all the money she was receiving from Wilcox Ranch, why she was advising the people that were taking the money. And she's the one that went down there and did a perpetuity vote. So I'm going to stop here, but I want to get real quick. This is the judge right here, District Court Judge David A. Hardy. Mr. Belfort, we're coming up on time here. Mr. Belfort, he filed 28 motions and 28 notices in this guy's court, and he denied them all. He took his money without due process and gave it all to her. And Gail Kern was a defendant and answered in the case CV 25-00680. She answered it. He lets her off. He dismissed everything and gave it to the district attorney who had a conflict of interest. Final thoughts, Mr. Belfort?
They're all dirty, and we can prove it.
All right, stand by. That was pretty